Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Thursday edition of Today in Sports Betting. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime. It is Scott Reichel. Scott, how are you?
Doing pretty well. I know yesterday wasn't a great day for me betting-wise.
Yep.
I had to play the day loser with the Nuggets. That was kind of comical. And then I also have my future with the Suns to win the division, and they lost to Orlando. Not a fun time.
Can't get those back, buddy. Can't
Nope.
get those back.
Those are the games that burn you in the long term.
Milwaukee ended up not covering. They pissed away a 25-point lead, so that was
They're lucky they won the game.
certainly well done there. Yeah, no kidding. So, Scott, we got just one TV game here with line so far. So we'll talk about that one, check and see if we got a line, and then we'll circle back and see if there's anything that makes our putter flutter, if you will, and gets us excited. So let's start with the. It looks like, hey, can I get some Lakers Sixers, Scott? How about that with the battle of the ex-MVP candidates?
Yeah, you got LeBron, you got AD, you got Embiid, you got a lot of great players playing, right?
Yeah, it's probably you got probably a lot of great players going to dinner, but
Yeah, probably. I don't know how many of them are actually going to be on the bench, but my guess is zero.
Sato. I don't even know if Embiid traveled.
I highly doubt he traveled.
I would think he wouldn't. There's no reason for extraneous travel right now. There's no.
I'm sure they told him, you sit in bed, you rest, and we'll call you when we need you.
Embiid in bed, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So, Scott, I do have a premium play on the side in this game, but I've got a play that I like just about as well, and that's going to be fading the Lakers offense and taking advantage of a Sixers defense that's been playing pretty well lately. And the Lakers defense that, the other night accepted, they usually play pretty good defense there. Depending on the metric you use, about second or third in the NBA as far as defense goes. They're right up there with defensive efficiency, points allowed, et cetera, et cetera. And you don't take that big of a hit without LeBron these days on the defensive side. You agree with that?
I think that he plays maybe some factor for communication. And by that, I mean when he blames teammates for miscommunications at the end. But he's still a decent defender. Of course, the main issue is without Anthony Davis because he is one of the best, if not the best, rim protector in the entire league.
Yep.
So you have that absence, which is huge. Main issue why they lost to the Pelicans, the main reason why I took New Orleans in that game was because of the fact that Marc Gasol was also injured. They have no rim protector. And I feel like they have no centers besides Montrezl Harrell. And I know that Philly doesn't exactly have many, I'd say, great threats at the rim. I know Ben Simmons still doesn't really know how to shoot, so he can still attack the rim. Dwight Howard's still doing Dwight Howard stuff, so he can still, dominate on the inside. Tony Bradley also has had a pretty decent year for them. I don't think the Lakers have the bodies on the inside, and I think that Philly's just going to kill them on the boards.
Montrezl Harrell's like 6'6".
I love Harrell. He's like 6'7".
Yeah,
I think
tops.
He's listed 6'9", but that's a pretty generous. Ruling there. But yeah, I think that Philly should dominate on the boards, and I think they'll get a bunch of paint points. So looking at this line, I like Philly. The traveling isn't that big of a concern because they just played against Golden State, so they're still already in California. But I also like the under. This game should be a rock fight. I do think Philly can actually do something offensively because of the lack of rim protection for the Lakers. But let's just say that the 76ers score 110 points, give or take.
All right.
Are the Lakers going to score 95? Because I don't even think that they're going to score 95.
Well, that's the thing, and that's probably not something I'm going to comment on.
It's fair. I know you mentioned on the side. It's just a matter of for the under. I don't know how you watch the Lakers play without LeBron and AD. I know that the Pelicans' defense is terrible, and the pace definitely helped out. Philly doesn't really play that fast, and the Lakers play extremely slowly, so I think that the pace should work out pretty well towards the under. And the Lakers, they showed against New Orleans in about the first half before garbage time hit early, I'd say mid-third quarter. The Lakers just couldn't shoot. They just can't shoot. You just go through the roster here. And this team, I know Kuzma was quiet for the first half, had a good stat line at the end, but he really didn't do much early on.
Oh.
Wes Matthews is probably your best three-point shooter on the roster?
Well, I mean, Caruso seems to think he is, but
I'm just saying they don't really have anybody.
No, they Other than the fact they don't really have anybody inside or outside, they should be able to score a ton.
So I
211.5, by the way. Does that worry you?
what does?
211.5.
That's what I'm saying. It's a low total, but I think it's warranted. And if you look at the projected score for this game, you're looking at around like 108, 10. That's like 107.5, 103.5, kind of for like a team total. I kind of like the Lakers team total under there. I don't think they get to 104.
Okay. All right, very good. So you and I definitely agree on the under there, and you have a side on the Philadelphia 76ers.
Kind of have to. This team without Embiid has still been really good.
All right. So anything else on tonight's schedule get you excited? Anything else worth a look?
Well, before we actually get into anything potential, I know that there is no line on the Portland-Miami game. Quick reminder for all the people listening.
Trade deadline.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with it. Where you might want to be better, you might feel a little bit better waiting to see if anybody gets traded in the early afternoon or early morning, because as you know, with the whole COVID protocol stuff, if you end up trading people, you're going to be shorthanded for probably a day or two. So that's probably why there is no line on the Portland-Miami game. Both teams did not play yesterday, but Miami's linked to getting Kyle Lowry. And I don't know if they're going to be shipping off a couple of players or they'll be shorthanded. So that's kind of what you have to keep in mind, is that some of these games might see massive line swings, because let's just say you end up seeing a team like, for the sake of this experiment, let's say Golden State. Let's say Golden State randomly decides to trade Andrew Wiggins, and they try to get somebody back. You just lost about 19 points, and you have no replacement for about 2 days.
Right.
Like, this line's going to move. It's the way it is. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be traded, but that's just an example that I'm going to be using. Or if, the Kings try to package together Buddy Hield and Bagley.
Somebody that's not a superstar, but a regular contributor.
Yeah, you're going to be – but the point is that those points that you're going to be losing are not going to be replaced for a couple of days. So you might be, I'd say, getting the short end of the stick on the number, because the line should probably move accordingly. So that's kind of just the warning I'd have, is if you're going to be betting on a team, either pick a team that isn't heavily involved in trade rumors, or maybe even consider fading a team involved in trade rumors, because if a couple players are inactive, you should have a pretty huge advantage.
Yep. Agreed. And definitely if you're – I was going to say if you're going to make a play on one of those teams that could be caught in the rumor, if you don't want to take a gamble, I would wait till late afternoon, early evening to make that play.
Yeah, I think the trade deadline's around, 3 p.m. Eastern time?
I think it's usually, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. It's not like it's a heavy card anyway, so I'm sure you could still find something. But still, something to keep in mind. I don't know if the Wizards are going to try to blow it up. I don't know if the Spurs are going to try to blow anything up, or Sacramento or anybody, but just keep it in mind. It's always in the back pocket of some of these teams if they look at the schedule and they look at the standings and go, you know what? Maybe we should start another rebuild for the 4th year in a row.
Well, the Spurs game is one of the ones that I kind of wanted to take a look at.
I think the Clippers are still scoring.
Yeah, boy, that was
they won by 33.
Quite a performance there.
Yep.
Do you think do we get a repeat of that? Is this Spurs team? Is it going to look markedly different tonight than it did last night, or than the night before last?
The thing that gives me pause is the immediate back-to-back. Because what I have seen in the NBA is that for a decent amount of these back-to-backs with no days off in between, you tend to see a massive turnaround. We saw it with Portland and Dallas the other day. But I do think there's a difference if you have a day off in between. You can kind of do everything like that. It kind of reminds me of baseball, when a team wins the first 2 games of a series, and yet the other team seems to just go all out in the 3rd game to avoid getting swept, and you kind of just wonder what happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how I feel about the NBA this season, where it seems like if you get embarrassed in the first game, you tend to come out with a little bit more fire in the second game. Plus, it's the Clippers. Do I know if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to play in this game? No. I'm assuming they will, but I don't know if they're going to. So do I want to take the Clippers? I'm interested. I know that they're rumored to get Lonzo Ball. I don't know what they have to give up in order to get him, but they also might be hypothetically shorthanded in this spot if they end up trading a Lou Williams type or something in order.
Right.
But if I was going to play, I'd take the Clippers. Based on, I know it kind of contradicts what I just said, but it's really no action for me because of what I said with the immediate back-to-back. And I got to assume Popovich is going to rip into his guys. So I think the Spurs will come out with a better effort. I don't know if they're going to keep it close because talent-wise, the Clippers are a lot better, but I have no interest.
Yeah, they have after losing, they've played a couple of back-to-backs, and again with days in between, but they've always rallied after losing the first game badly.
Mm.
So you know what? I'll take 6 in the Spurs.
There are some teams that are wired that way. It's mostly coaching.
As long as there's no major movement.
Yeah. It's mostly coaching. You look at Popovich and say, "Oh, he'll make some adjustments. He'll do this." Meanwhile, you look at some other teams in the league, and you just wonder they could play him 10 times in a row and they'd still lose by 20. Like some coaches just don't understand how to make adjustments. I think Popovich is a coach who probably knows how to make adjustments. So I think the Spurs will probably have a better game plan for the game on Thursday.
All right. What else you got? Anything else from this card?
Not really. I already made a play today, which I'm waiting to get posted by our IT guy. But overall, no, not really. Sacramento, Golden State. I know Sacramento is currently favored by 2.5. I don't know if Curry's going to play. And I also don't know if either of these teams are going to try to blow it up, because I do think both teams should probably blow it up. So that's just my kind of thought process on that.
Well, this has been quite a show.
Do you think that either of those teams should not blow it up? I know that for the Golden State, of course you're not trading Clay, even though you don't know if he's going to be the same guy off the 2 knee injuries. Of course you're keeping Curry, and of course you're keeping Draymond. Would it shock me if they traded Wiggins or Oubre? Of course not. I think they'll keep Wiseman, but I don't know what the point is of holding on to Wiggins and Oubre when you know that Thompson's going to come back and probably eat into both their minutes next year. I mean,
I was going to say he's not going to be back this. No, wait a minute. He went. You said 2 knees. He went knee and Achilles, right?
Yeah, but it was both legs. I thought it was one injury on both legs.
I thought it was about one. It was one last year, one this year.
One left leg, one right leg. Yeah.
Yeah, but one was an Achilles. They weren't both
correct.
knees.
But I'm saying he's had so many injuries. You haven't seen him play in about 2 years.
No, that's definitely true.
So I don't know if he's going to be the same guy, especially on the defense.
If you lose your legs, being able to shoot 3-pointers.
I think Clay will find a way to still hit threes, but the issue is the constant movement and the defending. But the point I'm trying to say is that this team knew going into the year after Clay got injured, your goal is to basically tread water. And that's what they've been doing.
Right.
So do you really want to pay Wiggins? Do you really want to pay Oubre, or would you rather get a draft pick out of it?
Yeah.
Probably a draft pick.
Yeah, that's legit.
I don't know if they're going to do it. I don't think Golden State's going to do anything. But Sacramento should also try to trade Hield and Bagley, because that team just isn't very good. And there's one thing if you have a lot of young guys and they're not really developing. There's another thing if you can package some young guys for I don't want to say a star because I don't know who's available, but I don't even know, somebody who's not defined as a role player.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, somebody that can play some defense, perhaps.
Perhaps, but like he would make the rest of the team look bad. But I don't know. Just those two teams are not going to touch that game because I think both teams could make a move. So I feel like for that reason, the line might end up shifting a decent amount.
Well, let's get to our baseball video then.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. As always, you guys want up-to-date information here later on today as the deadline approaches, as the deadline passes. Don't forget to stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com. We do update constantly over there with the predictions and what's going on. So keep an eye out over there. We wish you guys nothing but the best today. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. Don't forget to check out our contest picks, as 2 of our 3 handicappers are red hot. So get over there and get signed up. We'll drop the link in the description.
The other one's waiting to pounce.
What's that?
The other one's waiting to pounce.
The other one has them right where he wants them.
Mm-hmm.
Right where he wants them. It's ready to. He's ready to make his move. So, not going to say who's who, but just saying.
Coming around turn 3.
So yeah, check that out as well if you want some extra, some picks on every game, every total this weekend from the NCAA tournament. That is the place to go right there. All right. So for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, appreciate you guys stopping by today. Have a great day. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to check out, we're doing a little baseball video here right on the flip side. So check that out if you will. And we will see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.